I watched a little bit of this video. I wanted to actually fully sit down and for my thoughts on it. So Andy suggested it again. I'm like, oh shit! Oh, I've been meaning to do it. So let's check this out. This is part one. 3, 2, 1, go.
I've been
And those who don't know, I've been playing. I'm a squad partner playing Battlefield Project Reality on Battlefield, and I first got introduced. We're like, what the fuck? So I've been with squad for a while.
playing Squad since 2017,
Okay.
and the degradation of Squad's community, of the quality of players, of the quality of new players in particular, is nothing that's new. This has been talked about since I started playing 8 years ago. What does seem to be new is that we've hit a new low, or at least we keep continually hitting a new low. Every time we get a free weekend, that there's a massive price drop and new players join, it feels like it can't get any worse, and yet somehow it always does. The game I'm playing at times feels less like the game I played in 2017 and more like a Battlefield game. Basic things that every player used to know years ago, or at least the basic attitude that people used to come into Squad, doesn't seem to exist. There seems to be something missing, or the philosophy of players has just changed so fundamentally that the game just doesn't feel the same at times.
Funny. So myself and some partners kind of feel the same way, that the community feels like it's changed. It's not used. It didn't use. It's not. It doesn't feel like the community that we once played with pre 1.0 release back in 2020. No, it feels different. And he's right. Every time a sale happens, we get a bunch of new players coming in, and it's just it makes the games really weird as far as pacing. The knowledge is not as spread out or picked up as quickly as we. Well, not as quickly. I'm sorry. There is a learning curve with this game, but it's just the knowledge of per player is lower than usual, essentially. So it's like, oh shit, Right now, we are going through a sale with OWI's 10th anniversary, which, I mean, hell yeah, for 10 years of OWI. But Schroeder's right, definitely right. It does feel a little different.
I love Squad, and despite all of its flaws, I will continue playing the game, most likely for years and years to come. However,
Right on,
it
right
worries
on.
me to see that the quality of games, of standards, just keeps going down and down, and nothing seems to be ever done about it. As long as the game is selling more copies, that seems to be good enough for OWI and never for them to fix the problem. But why has the player base been deteriorating so much? Why does the quality of gameplay continuously decrease more and more the longer time goes on? Well, I have some theories and points I'd like to point out in this video, and hopefully bring some constructive arguments to the table of what can be done to fix the quality of players and just the experience of the game as it stands currently.
If I were to point out, I think we lost definitely a good amount of our veteran players that have been playing squad for a while, and their knowledge is invaluable. A lot of the squad's gameplay, as far as matches go and the flow, heavily depends on the squad leads and the commander, basically, essentially. And then not just those, like, hey, who's doing logistics? Who's doing all this stuff? Like, I did a stream yesterday, and the game we were playing was so painful because our logistics was lagging behind so fucking much. It was like, holy fucking shit, guys, what the fuck is going? My squad was heavily reliant on a rally until we managed to get a logistics truck up, but it was like at the end of the game, basically. It was frustrating to high hell, but I think one of the things is we keep getting a lot of new players, but the veteran players are getting less and less. So the knowledge generally of veteran players being SLs and helping the newer players kind of get up to speed is not as fast as not as at the pace that it once was. Also, you have to remember that the tutorial mode in Squad is like so bare bones. It's not even funny. Like, granted, it is a tutorial. It'll teach you the basics of the controls and all that dandy stuff, but that's really it. I wish there was a more in-depth tutorial, and to give a carrot on a stick scenario, be like, oh hey, you did the tutorials in advance stuff. Here's some weapon skins, free weapon skins just for doing that. Just to give a reason for players to do the tutorial, especially the newbies out there, because generally a lot of people just will skip the tutorial and just dive right in, and they'll be like, oh, I'm so confused. I'm like, and even then, some of the tutorials don't cover other things too. So it's like, okay, totally get it. So we'll see.
Now, I want to make myself clear. I'm not making this video to just harp on and
Oh no,
complain
no,
about
no,
new
no,
players
no.
coming into squad. If anything, squad needs new players coming in constantly to
Yeah,
keep it as a great live service game. But it
exactly.
deeply saddens me that I see a lot of new players coming into squad these days without the mindset that squad used to be famous for back when I started playing the game in 2017. When I was a new player back then, the general consensus from everyone around was we work as a team, we play to win, we will do the things expected of our role that we play as in the game to help our team win. People used to call out bad behavior. People used to call out people not playing the objective. People used to have a much greater understanding of the things that made squad good and the way that teams should play the game in order for that quality of gameplay to reflect in the match. Unfortunately, due to a lot of circumstances, which I'll get into in the video, this really doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Game series like Battlefield and even Call of Duty to the extent have deteriorated to the point where there's really no good games for a lot of these players who play Battlefield, who play more arcadey shooters, to go because the main titles of these games are trash right now. Good squad gameplay
I mean, not
doesn't
wrong.
seem to be highlighted in any marketing materials or any promotions for squad anymore. It's all about the 100-player battles, the crazy array of factions, the big upscale warfare. And while promotional materials such as this may be great for getting new players to try the game, it very much impacts the quality of gameplay you get on an average game. I see players just grabbing vehicles out of main and yeeting them onto a point by themselves and abandoning them just like any other Battlefield game.
I've seen a player took a 113 mortar and use it as a taxi to drive it from main base to the front point and then just ditch it entirely. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, at best, hitch a ride with the logistics or take a transport, but not the fucking 113 mortar system. I mean, definitely, I've seen it happen, and I know people get and teamwork. Yeah, it's definitely important. Like, granted, I think it also depends on the community. There's a lot of communities out there that still, likes to use a lot of teamwork and communication, but I have noticed that in some scenarios, I know it's kind of funny because squad players and squad 44 players always mark of, oh, there's always constant communication. Well, sometimes I've joined squads where it's kind of whisper quiet. The commander channel is also fucking whisper quiet. So yeah, I'm sure he's making some good points here.
Lack of awareness and just thought to the overall gameplay really hurts when I saw what squad was years ago, and the slow deterioration of this is the result of so many bad decisions of
placing oh my god. Oh, I see what's going on here. So if he's going on defense, oh wait, he's not even necessarily he's a medic. But drilling side is kind of wide open here, and everyone loves to attack, no one loves to defend. So
just letting people have the wrong idea of what this game was or could be. Back when I first started playing squad, when you were a new player, it was very daunting. There's so many people that all seem to know what they're doing, and you don't. But at the time, I had a lot of experienced players that helped me. I remember one of my first games, I was playing on OP First Light, which so many people playing squad these days don't even know what OP First Light is. But
oh my god, OP First Light, man.
And I spawned in and asked the guy next to me, how do I get ammo? And he personally took me over to the ammo crate and explained everything to me. And I really just don't see that these days in squad. I don't see many people teaching each other how to play the game unless they're friends who one has been playing the game much longer than the other one. And this isn't to throw shade really on experienced players, because I'm guilty of not helping new players as well, and it's because I've tried for years. When squad's gameplay really started deteriorating, which I feel like was around probably version 1, I really tried to squad lead for full blueberry squads, to help new players learn the game, to offer to take them in vehicles, to offer to take them and show them how different kits worked and stuff. And it is exhausting because OWI doesn't provide any framework for how to teach players how to play the game anymore.
I mean, we got the commendation system coming up, but it is, I am gonna 100% say it is so fucking difficult to be a fucking SL. It is just absolute fucking horror. Like, you being a squad lead is so stressful. Like back then, it was stressful, but it wasn't. It didn't really feel as stressful as it is now. I think now is like the worst time to be a squad lead because it's just on top of trying to corral your teammates, trying to get them to follow your lead or do what you kind of want them to do, and then be kind of all generally in the same place. You got the other SLs you got to talk with. If you communicate, if there's communication, all that things. There's like so many different scenarios going on, and I'm like, oh shit! It is really fucking stressful to be a squad lead. That's why I tend to like to be armor because I don't have to train people. Like especially if I'm with my friends like Sterno and all that standing stuff, we know exactly what we're fucking doing in like a IFV, like a LAV or a tank. If I'm in a squad, I like to have him as have him there, but I'm usually the main one leading the charge here and giving out um, orders to my teammates. But I'm not. I'm basically saying like, hey guys, we should do this because of this. I'm giving them intel heads up, like, hey, armor spotted here, ATs, be on the lookout. I try to keep everyone in the loop. And if shit goes sideways, like, okay, you know what, we can do this, guys. Let's go defense. Let's change up tactics here. So that's usually how I squad lead. I try to like lead, adapt, and I don't try to punish my squad members unless they're doing something outrageous, like being out in the middle of fucking nowhere, not near their team. I'll be like, no, if you come back, I'll give you a warning. Just come back with the group. If not, I'll just kick you out. So. Yeah, I swear to God, squad leading is fucking stressful, and it's just it's at times I feel I just want to quit the game after. I just want to stop playing.
There is a tutorial that was made years ago that is
hey,
outdated.
Yeah, that tutorial
didn't explain what the kits did or what the vehicles did or so many of the other little basic things at the time. And it's been years since that has been our only tutorial. And so
I've even suggested to OWI I understand you're busy, but we gotta revamp the tutorial because there's only so much we can do. Like I get it, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. But if we revamp the tutorial, have like, okay, here is now a full-on basic tutorial, and here's a more advanced one talking about the kits and the vehicles and everything, and hey, let's fuck around with the helicopter and learn how to fly and all that dandy stuff. And then, hey, here's a reward, player skins or emote and all that stuff. So it's not like they're, hey, we're doing this for nothing. No, there's something at the end of the tunnel here. There's a little treat for you. So videos can only do so much. And even then, sometimes videos even get outdated themselves. Like some of the squad tip videos that creators make, including the partners, years ago might not be up to date now. Might be a little outdated or very outdated. So it's like, okay. And again, it's the same scenario. You can only do so much. But if they don't want to go in and yeah. So
people just go into the game, have no idea what to do, and there's so many of them, there's no way to, as an experienced player, to help them. This lack of a proper tutorial system that can actually properly onboard people into the game has been a talking point for years and just has not been addressed at all, which goes into a deeper level of negligence.
Please believe, I've been suggesting it myself, so I hear you. I see it myself here because I'm like right there in the middle of it when I play, so...
that I think OWI is responsible for letting the community get to the point it is. I love new content for the game. When I play a new faction for the first time, it is really fun, and it breathes new life into the game.
Oh, hell yeah.
However, that only lasts for so long. And a new faction...
Yeah, the honeymoon period,
to get more people to buy the game or to come back to the game after a long time. It doesn't solve any problems with gameplay, with experience, with so many issues that Squad has right now in terms of lack of content and just being stagnant. And while I am very happy that OWI is finally updating to Unreal Engine 5 to hopefully iron out some of the issues that Squad has in terms of technical problems for a long time, it is not a change that I think most people asked for. I would love to see, at the very least...
So, my understanding, UE5 should make things a lot easier for OWI to work on the game and add new content. Like as soon as they get through this hurdle, then we could start seeing something, like oh hey, bam, hey, we can actually get, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. I mean, I know it's not what people expect, and honestly, I would love to have new content for us, but I think we're at the point where we need to fix the core shenanigans first before we move forward with new stuff. So
new maps. The last map we got was Sanction over a year ago. And before
Has
that,
it been a year?
was Hardju,
Goddamn.
which is even a longer gap between that. And
Yeah.
don't even get me started on the game modes that I've...
Yeah, Hardju, funny enough, used to be a mod, and it took a while for it to release because it needed optimization. The mod itself was nice, but it needed to be optimized. So, but you're right. You're absolutely right. We haven't really seen new maps, and granted, we have a modding scene, but it takes like, you know, moving like heaven and earth or moving a fucking mountain to get people to download some of these like new content as far as maps go. Like, you need to make it specifically an event. I remember when I used to do events for Squad with the 56 group, that we checked out some maps like Wake Island, Panjwai, which is a fantastic fucking map, and Hardju. Hardju had optimization issues. Wake Island needed a little more fine tuning, but it was a lot of fun. And then Panjwai was fucking great, but it wasn't a finished map. But it was like part of it was mostly finished, and we played in that part. But yeah, trying to get player servers to have these maps, like, one, does the map work? Is it balanced? Does it need to be optimized? You know, are players even going to download it? Yeah, it's just we see all these, you know, new custom made maps, but none of the servers are willing to host it because it could bring up issues, and it's just all that forth. Yeah, we're effectively waiting for OWI to drop new content, including maps and stuff. So,
diversity of game modes in Squad is so bad. Hey, would you like to play some RAS? I
Yeah.
heard you like RAS. Would you like more RAS? I am so sick of RAS. I used to hate AAS, and I will gladly play it because I am sick of RAS. Yes, I can go into an Invasion 24/7 server, but then I just get sick of Invasion because it's all they play on that server. No one has diverse game modes anymore. I love TC. It has the framework of an awesome game mode if OWI would just put some attention into it and make it a good game mode. But it just never gets played. And you know the reason why every server admin tells me that they don't play it is because people don't know how to play it. And it's a perpetuating problem that no one's going to do anything about unless OWI updates the game to make it a valid and worthwhile game mode to play. And there's a...
interjecting here, the territory control, it needs work. It needs more TLC. I was streaming on the unnamed server, and it was Kamdesh. The enemy took the anchor point, but it bugged out. So on the side, you saw the notifications going on like crazy, and it was literally annoying the fuck out of me because it's like, I'm noticing this shit. My peripheral vision is like, oh shit, oh, something's here, something's there. Like, it's distracting me basically, pretty much. Not as much as you, as for you, the viewers out there, because my webcam was like on most of it, but it was, for me, it was like, it was so fucking annoying. Like, yeah, the mode needs to be fixed, which they did officially confirm that they are going to rework the game mode. So I do have hopes, but he's right. Like, we got RAS and Invasion, and then, or just regular ASS, or Advanced and Secure, but that's primarily game modes. Destruction and Insurgency are just are even in worse off, basically, and I would not even recommend playing those modes. Hell, I don't even recommend playing TC for the fact that, one, it's not really fully working, and two, not a lot of players play it. So it is kind of like that never-ending, oh, let's play TC, but no one knows how to play it. Why does no one know how to play it? Because it never gets played. And I understand the people wanting something fresh in there and having TC, but I don't trust the player base to know what the fuck to do, so it could end up being a one-sided match. Like, the unnamed server, we were in Fallujah TC. It was actually fun. It was fairly balanced, straightforward. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good. I don't mind it. But other scenarios, it was like, holy fucking shit, just fucking ended already because we're getting our shit kicked in. But yeah, let's keep going here.
A very good chance that if more Squad players were well versed in all of the mechanics and the gameplay of Squad, that they would want to play the game mode more because they feel confident enough that they can try something new rather than the same old RAS and Invasion over and over again. You would think that Squad would be able to obtain a more consistent player base if OWI actually made the onboarding way easier so people don't get burnt out so fast. The amount of new players that are left unsatisfied by this game because they haven't been able to figure it out after hours of playing it is very disheartening, and I really wish OWI would put some more effort into maintaining the current player base than just getting new ones with sales and big flashy updates with new factions so that people will buy the game.
in a way, Squad is in a better state than Squad 44. All the modes that people like to play in Squad 44 is offensive, or was it frontline, which effectively is just basically invasion with a few extra steps in just certain areas. That's really it. There is the recently released Conquest, but no one's really playing it. It's a good seeding mode, but that's it. There's RAS, which when it first came out, it needed to be worked, but the devs fixed it. But it's interesting that the community there is just so stuck on frontline and offensive, nothing else really gets fucking played. And to me, it's even worse because effectively all it is invasion in Squad 44. And when you boil it down to it, like it's just pretty much invasion. So they're effectively playing one mode than two or three modes. So yeah, at least here we're playing two different modes a lot. But well, you know what I mean. So.
It is because Squad doesn't retain a lot of these players that there's a lack of experienced players playing the game at any given moment. And so this problem just perpetuates itself. There isn't enough experienced players to teach all of the new players how to play the game.
Never-ending
so people learning how to play the game eventually leave, get burnt out, and then there's no people left to teach the new people how to play the game that just joined the next update. And that leads to a new problem. The game has been deteriorating for so long that most people don't know what Squad was like before we experienced all the problems of lack of experience and no one knowing how to properly play the game. This has been like this for such a long period of time that many players don't understand or feel like I'm being insanely rude when I'm asking them to do simple things that would have been commonplace a couple of years ago. If I'm asking a player to play with the squad, sometimes they're confused. I had a guy a few weeks ago who I asked him if he could spawn and play with the squad and not run off, and he was just confused. Like, an SL actually asked him to do that for the first time.
Yeah,
the amount of people that get very upset with me if I ask them not to play a certain role because we need another one because that's ruining their fun, or if I ask them to be somewhere that they're not. I'm not trying to ruin someone else's experience or fun because I want them to play the game a certain way. They came into the game with an attitude that wasn't what Squad was originally intended to be. You are
Fuck me, he is right. Jesus fucking Christ. It does feel it does feel different. Like I understand. Like, hey, I need you to be with the squad because if we're together, we have a better chance of fighting it out with the enemy. Or hey, if can you change kits to this because we really need this kit. Or one of my most annoying things is like a hat player is on the toe, and I'm like, why? Why are you on the fucking toe? We need you here. Why the fuck are you on the toe? Or a hat player is with his squad in the rear, super fobbing, and I'm like, dude, we kind of need you up in the front. Can you SL? Can you just let us rent your hat because we need him up front because we're dealing with LAVs here. We're getting kind of our asses kicked here. Yeah, I totally understand. It is annoying. And I never had that issue. Well, again, if a teammate of mine starts running off doing his own thing, I'll ask him, hey, can you come back, be with the team more, unless you're doing something very specific, which I understand. But if he's refusing, like, I'm gonna fucking kick you. Like, I don't fucking care. I gave you a warning. I'm trying to be nice. If you're not gonna be with a squad, I'm gonna kick you. So you're gonna have to try your luck with other squads. But if you're coming back to me and keep doing the same shit, I'm gonna keep kicking you. So, well, yeah, it's just like, fuck, yeah. Like I could probably watch my older videos too, because my videos were like before 1. Some of my a good amount of my content was before 1.0, so it'd be like, this is what it was like, a reminder what it was like.
Supposed to have to make sacrifices so that you can win as a team, and that is part of the fun, is the competitive nature of playing as a team and working together to accomplish that goal. And a lot of this goes back into the lack of experience. There is not enough experienced players, experienced SLs that play the game consistently anymore. So many SLs are just cool with letting their squad free roam the map and not play with the squad and barely communicate the whole time. So many people take vehicles and have absolutely no idea what they're doing and just throw them into the objective and die. I'm not saying that everyone has to be a master at the game and be super experienced in all these tutorials and practice to be able to do these things, but there used to be a culture in Squad that when you were playing the game in an incorrect way, people called you out for it. I remember being terrified the first few times I SL'd because there would be times where I would not be doing the right thing and people would tell me, they would let me know that I am not playing the game how it should be in this certain situation, and it just doesn't happen anymore. If you were building a super fob at the edge of the map and being completely useless, most of the time the team would call you out and
I would call the fuck. I would call you out hard for that shit.
Of people just
I would call you out because I'd be like,
outskirts of the map being absolutely useless for their team, and the command chat is completely silent. It used to be very common practice that at the start of every match, when the SLs are in the warm-up stage, everybody's getting in their vehicles and stuff, people would communicate where they are going. They put a move mark where they're going. If they have a logi, they put a fob creation marker. It is more common for people not to communicate where they're going now than it is for them to communicate at the beginning of the game.
Fuck me. Yeah, this is so fucking true. I've noticed lately the command channel is more quieter than usual. And or at times I might be only communicating with another squad lead that's communicating back. That's it. And again, a community that prides itself like, oh, there's teamwork and communication. Where the fuck is the communication when it comes to the squad lead channel? Where? Like, holy fucking shit. I think out every 5 games, I think about 2 or 3 of them, like the SL channel is kind of quiet. Which beforehand it used to be like maybe 4 out of 5 games that everyone's talking, and I mean not 4 out of 5. I'm sorry, 1 out of 5 games where it's just quiet. Now it's starting to get worse. So most definitely.
Game. I mean, at least there used to be, you would put a move mark to where you were moving your squad, and I don't even see that as common anymore. As divisive as it might be now, it used to not be controversial that there was a wrong way to play Squad. Trust me, there's a lot of right ways, and there's a lot of right ways that are fun, but the way that Squad has developed into this attitude of just do whatever you want in all pubs is just so disappointing and not what the game was originally intended for when it became its own separate game from the Project Reality mod. But like I said at the beginning, maybe it's just that Squad's community has gotten to the point where it's moved on. I need to move on as well, which really hurts me because I've played this game for so long and I've met so many awesome people that I've shared lifelong friendships with now through this game, and it was through the community and through the type of gameplay that this game festered that I was able to do this. And I sincerely hope that the future of Squad takes into the account what originally made it great and continues to expand upon that rather than catering to the norms that is every single FPS multiplayer game in 2025 and beyond. But the stuff we can really do about this as a community currently is limited, and it really is in OWI's court if they actually want to, after this UE5 update, make some changes that would support the community and support experienced players in helping new players get on board to this game and play it the way it was played 8 years ago. And as a side note, I do know that there are several communities currently that do play Squad in a way more reminiscent of old Squad and pride themselves as having higher level gameplay and a lot more experienced players gather on these servers, but it shouldn't have to be that way. I shouldn't have to go and play on a very specific server if I want better gameplay. And in my opinion, all experienced players congregating on one server only exacerbates the problem.
Not wrong. Jesus Christ,
it is now if people don't actually spread out and try and encourage better gameplay in a broader array of servers. I can't blame people for resorting to going to these servers. The gameplay is much better overall and the teamwork is much more coordinated and can be a lot more fun. But at the same time, sometimes the players on these servers are so used to having to, on pub servers, direct the whole team because no one knows what they're doing. They become control freaks. They have the kind of attitude where they are the best player in the room and they know it, so they just try and dictate every little movement that everybody does.
Oh, like a micromanagement thing.
I get that their intentions are great, and I get that they're really trying to have this gameplay that I want to encourage. I said early in the video, people need to criticize each other when they make bad decisions, but they also don't need to be overbearing and let people make non-meta plays. At least occasionally. There's a difference between good gameplay and fun and unique gameplay. If I'm placing the same hab every single round, just because the most optimal optimal, it tends to not be the most fun. And one of the reasons I like to play squad is because every match is different. When you play the same player all the time,
we don't have to stick to metas. Like, let's have fun and just have the teamwork and quick communication going.
There's a good balance that needs to be struck here that I think a lot of players lack with the mindset that they currently have when it comes to squad. I don't want to discourage experienced players from playing the game, but also when everything becomes about doing the most meta thing possible, it does ruin that onboarding experience that's already so hard to get new players to get through that we have in squad. But anyway, if you stayed to the end of the video, thank you so much. This has been something I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and if I'm honest, I have no idea what the reception is going to be.
Made a lot of great fucking points. Definitely made a lot of great points.
I don't know, but I love this game. I've been playing it for so long, and I really hope sincerely for the best for it long term. And I think personally that this would be the best route for squad to take long term. But who knows? Maybe it'll turn into just kind of a little bit of a slower battlefield. Maybe it'll return to what it was. But
yeah, I mean, there is so many new players coming into this game where it's just it's just literally like holy, like the flow and pacing of the matches again is all over the place. I totally fucking agree there. Like, and the teams who are more coordinated, like some community teams or clans, I'm like, okay, let's be here, this one team, and we're gonna fucking roll the other team basically, which I've seen has happened before. Like, we would push a team, and we're like, why aren't we getting much resistance? Like, what the fuck's going on here? You know, like we were expecting a fight, and we're like, we're second to last point, and we're not getting any much resistance. What the fuck is going on? Like, usually we get more, like, I mean, absolutely true. Like, the pacing of this game is just really out of whack. I mean, it starts evening out after a sale and a period of time, but when OWI again keeps doing these sales, which again, I know bringing in new players is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just now we got a bunch more new players coming in. There's not enough veteran players to go around to help teach them, to get them up to speed. The tutorial is lacking, and all we got are videos, which honestly can only do so much. So it's it's almost a no-win situation, but we're trying to make it fucking work here. But yeah, I do admit the flow and the pacing of the game is definitely different. Oh wait, all right, wanted to sneeze here. It's definitely different to pre 1.0. So there was part 2 of this video responding to comments, so let's check that out here. So
before I get into the main topic for this video, I'd just like to take a moment and thank everybody who watched and commented and participated in the discussion of my original video that I posted, that this video is a follow-up to. I really had no clue that video would pop off as much as it did, so thank you guys.
I mean, it's good to point out an opinion, but your opinion definitely a lot of I resonated with it.
This is a follow-up to. I highly recommend watching that first.
I do resonate it. So you made some great points, and some of them I like thought the same thing.
To address some of the things that I either forgot to mention or didn't feel it was worth mentioning in the original video.
All right, no worries.
Apologies for not getting this response out sooner. I would have if I was able to. I actually picked kind of a stupid time to release the original video. I actually was in the middle of a cross-country move for a new job right as I released that video. I had the video complete for several weeks, but just needed to finish editing some
do what you gotta do, buddy. Do what you gotta do, man.
I finished it right before I went on the move, so I decided to just put it out anyway, not anticipating the response it would get. So thank you guys once again for that, and I am now set up mostly and can actually do this response in a more controlled environment. With that intro out of the way, we can now actually get on to responding to some of the comments. The first one here says, the problem I saw that everyone wants to fight and no one wants to do logistics. 90% of recent games lost in the first 15 minutes because one hab
our logistics
hab gets destroyed.
Yeah, no.
The team was somewhere near enemy.
Logistics is basically, whether it be helicopter or the logistics truck, everyone always needs the logistics, but no one wants to do it. It is it's a loved but hated position to be in, basically. Like, granted, there are people out there who just love, like, just driving around, like it's like a European truck simulator, or American truck simulator, just with bullets basically getting thrown at you at the side. But yeah, I've, like, sometimes in, like, beforehand, I would just do logistics, be like, okay, what you need? Okay, I'm here to drop off, bam, I'm gone. I've noticed helicopter pilots doing more reconnaissance with their helicopters, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm like, hey, this point, they know about this point, so can you resupply us here, buddy? Because the logistics trucks ain't gonna come in time, and we really need it. And not a lot of pilots do that, and sometimes you just have to ask or beg and be like, hey, buddy, please, we really need something here. Like, or I get it, like if you're building a fob and that you're trying to be like, hey, we don't want anyone to know we're here, so fuck off, pilot. We don't need you to reveal this position. But if it's already, they know about it, they're in dire need of ammo and shit. Helicopter pilots, like, try your best to go in there and resupply.
Main, and they normally blame the faction at the end of the game. I feel like this has always been a problem with Squad. Like, yeah. I know a lot of the feedback to just there's any problems that it's always been a problem is not very helpful, but this one has a lot of merit too. I think it's always kind of been a problem that people don't want to do logistics.
Yeah, because it takes you out of the fight, but
it is now. Back when I started playing this game, or even was several years into playing this game, there was people who would dedicate their whole nights to just driving Logi trucks.
Yeah, I did that too at times. I just want to chill.
In our group who hasn't played in several years, but he used to be the guy who just wanted to drive Logis all game and resupply your habs and resupply your fobs and get new habs up.
Literally unsung heroes. Literally the unsung heroes.
This is another problem where it's a mindset thing. People don't come into the game wanting to do team play like that anymore. Someone could still totally do that, what I just described. Drive around Logis, be helpful. But just asking someone to do a Logi run these days is like pulling teeth compared to what it used to be.
It absolutely is.
People used to be way more willing to do Logi runs. People used to be way more willing to do logistics than what they do today. And so you have nobody actually placing these halves because no one wants to drive a Logi. And there's a lot of compounding factors here. One of them is that so many of the layers now only have 2 Logis, unless you do a logistics faction, or I believe there's one other type of faction that gets 3 Logis. You only get 2. So it's already now cutting down a third of the potential logistics you have. So let's say, just like a game I played the other night, example here, somebody drives the Logi into a point, dies with it, and now we can't recover that Logi. And
fucking
we have the
sucks.
second Logi being used by a squad who's off in the middle of nowhere and is refusing to come help even after being asked.
Oh my fucking Christ! And it's don't let me guess. They're a mortar fob or a tow fob. Let me guess here, because they're usually the ones that have a dedicated supply line going. But when you ask them to, hey, can you resupply us? It's like, oh God, like, God forbid that our mortar fob with almost 8,000 ammo will run dry if we do this one logistics run that'll only take 5 minutes tops. Fuck me. Jesus.
By multiple squads in the game. So now you have 2 Logis that you can't get anywhere, and you're handicapping a team. Obviously that can happen with 3 Logis as well, but the more Logis you add, the less likely that is to happen. So already you're cutting your possible logistics down by a third, plus the unwillingness of people in this version of squad to actually want to do logistics. You're not getting habs up. I feel like OWI need to do some sort of rework to make doing logistics either more important or to make it easier. Now, I'm not saying that they should totally overhaul the current system. It's worked for years, and it used to be completely fine. I just think that maybe add 3 Logis back to most factions. Maybe have less tracked Logi-specific factions.
I've noticed a lot of people would pick certain sub-factions over the others because they have regular wheeled Logis. Tracked Logis are slower and more annoying to use, and it's kind of like the, why would we drive this? Because it's more annoying to, to have, basically. I do, I mean, having 3 Logis could help. And then, like, for instance, the VDV has, tracked Logis. You could give them, like, okay, here's 2 tracked Logis, but here's a 3rd regular Logi track. No one likes driving tracked Logis at all. No one.
I don't want to do a Logi run when I'm playing VDV because the Logi, it goes 20 miles an hour, and on a big map, it'll take me 20 minutes just to drive one way back to main.
Yeah, maps like fucking, Yeeho, Goose Bay, Matakugan. Scorpo's the worst. Oh my God, Scorpo's the worst to do track logistics, and it just basically just come by helicopter at this point. It's just like, unless we got wheels, just come by helicopter.
before taking another 20 minutes to drive
Yeah,
back the other way.
exactly.
That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it feels
you're
like that. Why would I want to do a Logi run if the vehicle I'm doing it in is probably going to take just as much time to get back for the game to be over for me to just do it anyway?
It's FOMO, fear of missing out. Yeah.
Don't pick heli-focused unit types anymore. I realize I've been saying factions instead of unit types. I mean unit types when you're voting for a unit
or sub factions, yeah.
But they don't pick helo-focused unit factions anymore. They will always prioritize the armored ones, so you only get armored factions. So one, you don't get a lot of helos, and when you do get helos, pilots these days are very hit or miss if they actually want to do logistics for you or not. It used to be a lot more common that people would actually want to do
like I said,
That problem is partially due to squad leads not asking for it, but there's also a lack of willingness on the helo pilot's part for he would rather go scout for armor or harass logistics or do something else rather than actually do the logistics for the team. And I can't blame the helo pilots a lot of times because they're worried if they do it without being asked to go and resupply a fob that they're going to run into armor that isn't marked or just not communicated. So
yeah, if the area is not safe for them, they have more reason to avoid it. Like, if it's small arms fire, it's one thing, but if it's like an IFV or a tank or something like that, they're like, no, fuck no.
It's a lot of compounding factors, but can be very easily addressed by just re-adding some features that were already in the game that OWI removed for various reasons over the years. So getting back to the comment, there is kind of a point that people have by blaming the faction, but not in the way that they're saying that it's the faction's fault. It might be the faction's fault partially just because they did tracked logis or they did a faction without more logis, causing people not wanting to do logistics because the options suck. But that's more of a mindset problem rather than a faction problem overall. Another addition to the problem of we can't change that directly, but more in indirect ways, which I will get more into in other comments of the video. All right, next comment. You can't teach someone that doesn't want to learn. No tutorial, no promotion, no videos will fix this. I don't think the devs play their game,
bring a horse to water,
but
can't force it to drink it.
Fundamental disconnect. The biggest problem is Squad has an arcadey respawn system. Some games of Invasion can have 300 to 600 people get killed and give up in a single match. That's a 3 to 12 respawn average per person. I've seen some go over 20. There's little incentive to stay alive. There's no incentive to listen to your SL and play as a unit. You can use your magical side stream map to see everyone in real time. You have all the tools to play selfishly and out of meta the game. If you want to play hat kit, you can just run towards an enemy armor marker and ignore your SL. If you die, you only have 10 more tries. What could go wrong? Now, I feel like this is kind of a two-layered comment.
It is a two-layered,
things I kind of like to talk about. The first one is the player base that you can't teach someone that doesn't want to learn.
Like
I agree with this to a certain extent. Like, yes, there's some people, even when I mentioned in the original video how a lot of people come from these arcade shooters these days and play squad because there isn't good alternatives in the FPS market right now. And so
I mean, we can only do so much, but it's nice having those options there for the players that do kind of want to learn and be like, oh, hey, you know, this is surprising. Like, again, give them a carrot on the stick, have a revamped tutorial, have be like, hey, you can get a free emote or weapon skins by doing them, so there's a reason to do them. And you learn something out of it, so.
A lot of people come in without the actual knowledge of what Squad at least was originally meant to play like, and they just want to do their own thing. They don't care to learn. That does suck, and there are a lot of people like that that will just act in that sort of attitude. But at the end of the day, those people, the vast majority of the time, will play the game a couple hours, realize that it isn't the experience that they want from it, and then not play the game again. Those people you can't really help. If they're not going to listen, if they're not going to play the game, there's not much you can do.
You're right.
What it is a failure of is OWI's marketing, in terms of actually marketing Squad as a more tactical experience where you should prioritize the team over yourself. But at the end of the day, that still isn't going to stop somebody who maybe just doesn't have all the context and hasn't looked into the game too much. However, I do feel like there is a large amount of people that can be taught, that it is a thing where a lot of people may join the game with that initial attitude, but if they realize the game is actually something completely different, they might be interested in learning. And the tools not being there for people to effectively teach other people, or just for those people to figure it out themselves, minus going to YouTube and looking at a bunch of tutorial guides, which back when I started playing Squad, that was pretty common. I watched a lot of SL tutorials when I started to learn how to SL, because I had had that attitude of, well, I wanted to get better and I wanted to figure out this game. But you can't expect the average player to do their own research outside the game in order to get better. You would hope that there is a ground system in the game for those players to be onboarded in a better experience. And for years and years, it was always just we onboard the new players as a community. But the community is so small in terms of experience and so lack thereof of that.
Oh my god, yep.
Years ago, that the percentage of players that a new player is going to run into that actually know how to play the game is significantly less than what it used to be.
So sometimes the new players, or the players that kind of know what they're doing, but not really, they might give bad information for the newer players coming in, and then more mistakes happen. It's just the never-ending cycle. Like, holy
Even
shit,
if there is a significant amount of experienced players that want to teach people how to play the game, there still just isn't the framework that they used to be. And OWI should compensate for that by actually making a better tutorial. So while no tutorial, no promotion will directly fix some people's really bad attitudes, that isn't the majority of people who are coming in to play the game. And while the better promotion will stop a significant amount of people that have the wrong mindset, or at least a number of people who have the wrong mindset, and new tutorials will help improve some people's understanding of what the game actually is and what you're supposed to do to the game, is a much better improvement than having nothing at all, than our current system, where we have a lackluster tutorial that by many people I've asked who are new and have played the tutorial for the first time doesn't explain anything, or at least anything significant other than what your average FPS experience is. So there needs to be at least some sort of better framework. I'm going to agree with you that yes, there's some people whose attitudes are just that bad that you're not going to fix. But if you can at least change a fraction of that number, it will eventually improve the community, because people who are bad and who are going to have that bad mindset are likely not going to stick with the game for a significant period of time. Now, going on to the next section of this comment about
it is literally a two-part
comment. Arcadey, it has an arcadey respawn system and all of that. This is very game mode dependent, in my opinion. I think Squad can play significantly different. Yes, in Invasion, when you have plenty of tickets as a defending force, you're kind of supposed to throw your body in there. That's a lot of the time how you actually stop the enemy forces, is making these kind of risky, ballsy plays, and you play as a insurgent force that's just doing these kind of sparse attacks that just annoy people even though you're losing tickets doing it. At least that's the original intent behind it. This is a problem of just Squad not having more game modes that cater to players that want to play the game in a less arcadey experience. If there was actual more hardcore game modes, like I know there's been mods for in the past, that would probably be a great solution to this. You could play on a game mode that doesn't have map icons for every single player, but just the SLs. You could play on a game mode that has significantly longer respawn times, or has habs that you have to place significantly further apart from each other, that reworks the way that rallies work to make it more difficult to move around in a quick manner. I know a lot of Squad players wouldn't like this, but that's why it should be a game mode. You already have RAS only servers,
like an optional,
invasion only servers. So if you are going to
don't make it mandatory, keep it optional.
Make more game modes to satisfy more people who want to play the game in a different experience, I say let them. So yes, I agree that there are some flaws in Squad's current system, but me personally, I do like the general flow of the gameplay. It has the more milsim-y effects that you don't get in Battlefield, but it doesn't have the endless running simulator all the time that you get in Arma.
That's what I always say too, like, it's an in-between of Battlefield and Arma. It's more in-depth Battlefield, but not as in-depth as Arma, where it gets a little confusing and with everything else in between. And when people say, oh, this is a running simulator, like, have you played Arma? That is a running simulator.
Now, there's exceptions to both of these, and I probably offended a lot of people by summarizing those two games in those two sentences, but that's just how I feel about it. And I feel like a lot of other people feel the same way, which is why they continue to play Squad rather than Battlefield or Arma. Additionally, this is something that OWI could actually just give admins the tools to turn off certain features on their servers to cater it to more either hardcore experiences or casual experiences. OWI has just not given admins the proper tools to effectively moderate and change the experiences on their servers. So many of the best admin tools that are there right now in Squad are made by plugins by modders. That should not have to be the case. Server operators are the lifeblood of Squad right now. They are the people that make or break the experience. They're the admins that can abuse their power and ruin your day. They're the ones that can make fair, comprehensive rules that can make your server experience really good and make the server environment environment awesome, and they don't have the tools to effectively make this experience better. Instead, they have to either make it themselves or just don't have it at all, and so you just get a worse experience overall. And then you can't do stuff like make a more hardcore squad where you're dead if you get shot at all, or your respawn timer is longer, or your respawn timer is shorter, and you have faster movement, and you don't die to falling off a ledge that is a couple inches high. There's very simple things that they could do to make the experience better by giving some tools to server operators to.
I think OWI did announce that they were planning to give more tools to the server admins, which I don't know what they are, but I'm like, hell yeah, giving them more options is always a good thing. So
Cater unique experiences that they don't right now, which is a shame because I think there's a massive opportunity to make everybody's experience better here just by doing a few simple things and improving the admin tools for a server.
Okay,
all right, next comment. Really good points about COD and Battlefield being so bad that the kids are coming over to play squad. Thank you. I also really hate the voting. Most people don't know what the faction has in it, and they just see armor or PMC and then scream it into the mic until other.
Oh my fucking Christ! Yes, yes.
Again, with horribly suited factions, only to end up with a squad leader that doesn't want to be squad leader, but all the other squads are half full and locked.
Oh my fucking Christ. I fucking hate it. Again, there are certain maps works well with certain factions than others. I fucking hate the point where this happened to me again. Narva. The enemy team picked mechanized Canada with like 3 LAVs. Part of our team were yelling because we saw PMC Air. Part of our team was like, go PMC Air, PMC Air. I'm like, no, I'm like, absolutely not. Worst decision that you can make. They picked it, and lo and behold, the air power that the PMCs normally have are getting fucked because 3 LAVs, one shot in the engine compartment will just fuck it up entirely. Our air power will effectively be useless. It was pretty much useless for majority of the game, but people saw PMCs, they saw air, like, oh, we should do this. People need to pick sub-factions smarter in scenarios here. Voting has gotten so annoying where, yes, we keep seeing the same maps over and over again. Again, Unnamed had the event night where they have predetermined map list of modes and maps that normally don't get picked. So it's like, oh, hey, it's like, okay, we'll play this map, we'll play this mode, because we don't normally see it. Even though Samari Invasion fucking killed it. Fucking killed me. Like, I'll never again. If I see a Samari Invasion, I'm just dropping out regardless. I don't fucking care. I'm dropping out regardless. But the notion is, yeah, like, you got maps like there hasn't been a lot of people that played Fool's Road, Mystia, fucking what's Logar Valley should not even be even considered, at this point, because Logar Valley is basically just a seeding map, and that's really it. So what else? What other maps? The OP Anvil. Not a lot of people pick that. Not a lot of people pick Sanctuary Island. I know there's other maps out there that I'm missing. I already said Fool's Road and all that dandy stuff. Camdash Heights and stuff like that. But again, it just you get people yelling, pick this one, and I'm like, guys, we picked the worst. Why are we picking armor faction for Fallujah? We're in fucking Fallujah. If we were in Gordok or EO, it would have made a hell of a lot more sense. But it's just we're at the point where I feel like we should have a predetermined map list again. Or if servers have more than one available, you can have the one voting, and then have another server be a predetermined map list.
I actually made a whole video about this whole map voting problem.
Yeah, it's gotten
link it down
bad.
In the description below.
It's gotten so annoying.
The points I made in that video can boil down to something like this. Map voting, the initial idea of it is very good. It gives players the opportunity for more unique experiences on the same layers we've been playing for years, but its implementation was made in a way that causes the gameplay to become stale. OWI limited the amount of RAS and invasion layers significantly when they implemented this update. So you get the same few layers, and then when the server rotation doesn't have a diverse enough input on the voting screen, you get the same few faction options every single time. And some factions are just significantly better than other ones, so they will be voted for every time. And the whole...
we used to had blue on blue layer. US versus Canada or British and stuff like that. I missed that layer. Let's bring that layer back.
whole thing about everyone just screaming at the end screen, screaming the loudest actually works a lot
Yeah,
of the time.
it does.
It's just
And I fucking hate it. It's like that pack mentality.
Done multiple different things, such as like lying about the compositions that we
fucking hate it so much.
making them seem way better than others, just so people will vote for them. And that works too, because no one knows what they're picking, because the actual little icon to see the layout is so small and no one ever checks it. Servers with fixed rotations are few and far between these days, and can also be just as boring sometimes if they don't change the rotation enough. So
you need to change rotation, I think. I want to say, because servers, what they used to do, people you can like hey, suggestions, what layer and server, what map and layer would you like to see and stuff like that, and it would get changed almost weekly, pretty much weekly, and it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't feel like it was overstaying its welcome because it was only a week, and just change it up basically. Don't change it up like once a month because it's gonna get boring. Change it almost every week or every, you know, I think every week is a good pace.
In my opinion, there needs to be some sort of middle ground here that hopefully can be worked out with some of the solutions I said in the other video, but it kind of just comes down to OWI reworking the system, giving admins more control over what can be put in the voting screen, and diversify the amount of layers and factions that can be in a rotation at once. Also, I do agree that so many squads are locked, or just blueberry squads have just nobody talking in them. I'm guilty of, I don't play squad without friends these days. I used to years ago play squad alone all the time on my favorite servers, and it was a really good time, but these days it's very rare that you actually do get a good group of blueberries in a squad, whether you're leading it or you're just in it. So I can't blame people for not wanting to play the game while they're a solo anymore, because the experience can just be brutal of just bad teammates, no one communicating, and then the people who do want to communicate lock their squad because they're so burned on just getting bad teammates and blueberries all the time that they just...
I'm not gonna lie, I can admit it myself. Like, there's certain scenarios I'll just lock it with just me and my friends, or I like it for a reason. If it's an armor squad, that's just me, my buddy, and maybe one more other person. We don't need any more, you know. But I've had locked squads where it's just me and a close group of friends who are like, I don't want to deal with this shit. Like, sometimes it's just me and my buddy, just because we know exactly what we're doing. But yeah, it like, it's a lot of the locked squads. Yeah, some of it can be explained, like, oh, he's flying helicopter. Oh, logistics. Oh, armor. But the other lock squad, yeah, I do admit I lock my squad myself because I'm just like, I just don't want to. I'm not in the mood to lead, because I don't want to have more of a headache than I already do now. So maybe next match I'll lead. But yeah, I can understand why people's, you know, mindset.
Just want to play with their friends. This kind of just comes back to the
I can totally understand
community mindset thing, and getting people actually more experience in the game, and having the community mindset shift back to what it used to be, versus this kind of independent, I play for myself, not the team, than what we used to have. Next one. I miss OP First Light so much. It was great for lower pops to fill the server and fun light vehicle drive-bys. I agree so much. I used to love that map back in the day. No idea really why they decided to remove it from just a contents perspective. I know the excuse that some of them gave was that it was too small of a map and was too old of assets that they didn't want to have it in the game still, based on the way they were going with the game. OWI remastered and redesigned several maps in Squad's lifetime. A smaller map like OP First Light, you could have added on just a little bit more to the map and just redesigned a couple of things, and I think it could have lasted much longer. No idea why they didn't just do that. Maybe one day they'll bring it back. There was a rumor going around, I believe, when they originally made the tutorial, that the tutorial was actually made on OP First Light, that they like placed it over the existing map assets. Not sure if that's any merit to that, but I guess it's kind of a cool nod. It's still technically in the game if that's true. But yeah, bring back OP First Light, man.
I will just, if you guys want it bad, just suggest it to OWI. I know a lot of people back then have fond memories of OP First Light, and I believe a modder out there has remade the map as well. But yeah, just keep suggesting to OWI, hey, please bring back OP First Light. There was another map that got taken out, Nana Civic. I don't want to see Nana Civic ever fucking again. Fuck that map. No, if they were to bring that map back, but have it be completely overhauled and all that shit, cool. That's it. But other than that, I fucking hated that map. That map can go fuck right off.
Next one, as a person who used to play Hell Let Loose, leaving after the devs prioritized cosmetics and bland open maps, never addressing the 80% win rate that allies have, and terrible optimization.
Terrible
I understand seeing
optimization.
the game fall, but can still be popular with a different audience.
Terrible optimization. The fuck? Game's more optimized than Squad.
That it wasn't originally meant for. I think Hell Let Loose is the greatest case study for what we really don't want Squad to turn into. Granted, Hell Let Loose already had a lot more arcadey gunplay and play styles, I think, from the start than Squad has, but it's really not that far off. I used to play Hell Let Loose semi-frequently. I always thought it was a fun game, but also I would play it for a more casual experience. Like,
yeah, I mean, you could have Hell Let Loose be its own thing. Like, it doesn't, it could exist. Like, let it be in its own area, basically. Like, I still like to play Hell Let Loose, so.
If I didn't want to play as intense a Squad, but also didn't want to play like a Battlefield game and just kind of run around and do whatever and have some semblance of teamwork, I would play Hell Let Loose. And they have some really cool maps and cool content there, but just the whole kind of more favored towards casual players is just not what I want for Squad, nor
No,
any
no,
games.
No, I understand you. Squad shouldn't be aiming for casual players. Squad should be, hey, this is the drum beat we're going with teamwork and communication. But like again, Hell Let Loose they can do their own thing. They can be on their own thing, pull in the gang. But that Squad always be Squad.
Which is Squad 44, and I much prefer playing Squad 44 over Hell Let Loose just because it's similar systems to Squad and less arcadey features. And it's sad to see.
Oh, I'm gonna admit it right here. While I do think Squad 44 has some crazy moments, and when they work, and when people are playing, they are fucking amazing, including the chaos of it all. There's enough players lately to enjoy those moments from now on. So that's why I always play Hell Let Loose. The game has its fun in its own right, but there's more people playing that than Squad 44.
See the game deteriorate with the features catered to more of these casual audiences, and it just is obvious that it didn't work out for it. Sure, there's actually a rather large console market for Hell Let Loose now because of these features, but if you just look at Steam charts and compare the two games, there's 10,000 30-day average players that play Squad. There's under 4,000 that play Hell Let Loose on Steam.
I remember when we were hovering around 1,000 to 2,000 for Squad back in the early days, so I mean, there is still enough players playing with enough servers as well to keep people interested, and so it's a lot more than Squad 44.
I think the numbers show for themselves how people feel about how changing a game's focus midway through development to feature a more arcadey experience can really kill the game for most of the original player base. Next one. This one features a timestamp that is me talking about how you don't see people teaching others how to play the game as much anymore as you used to. He says, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Also, you can take people into the training ranges and fully teach them about the game. You do with what you have. As I said in the original video, I've played the game since 2017, so I'm not trying to say that my experience overcomes everybody else's, but myself and the vast majority of people that I've played with, when I ask them about things like this, overwhelmingly agree that they don't see this anymore. We as a squad...
Oh, I remember used to seeing that, like, in custom browser... people would just go in there to the training area just to like, oh hey, I just need help figuring this out or stuff like that. You don't see a lot of happen anymore though, but it did used to happen back then more often.
We'll have maybe like 6 or 7 people in a call together playing, and we'll have 2 to 3 blueberries in the squad with us. When they ask us questions or tell us that they're new and need help with stuff, we try and help the best as we can, but these days it's really hard to baby these people into learning these steps when there's so many people in any given squad that don't know what they're doing.
On top of what's going on in the game too, so it's like if there's a lot going on while you're trying to teach the new players in your squad, it could be really just you're juggling with so much. You're like, what the fuck? I'm just getting more of a migraine, essentially. Yeah.
And it's not that we don't want to help them or that we're trying to be selfish. It's just every single game. If I have to spend every single game telling the blueberries in my squad how to play the game rather than me being able to play it myself, that shouldn't be the squad experience.
Yeah.
I don't play squad to teach new players how to play the game. I play squad to play it myself. And sure, I am more than happy to help out somebody who tells me that they don't know what they're doing and want some help with stuff and walk them through it, especially if they're willing to learn. But it shouldn't be my job to do so. And so I feel like a lot of people share this same sentiment. They'll help out where they can, but they're not going to go out of their way to teach every new player how to play the game. I had to learn to play the game myself, and it was through the help of other players, but it wasn't through the help of one singular player, and it was through the experience of a lot of mistakes and a lot of failed ideas about how the game should be played. So yes, I might not be in a blueberry squad by myself all the time witnessing people teach each other how to play the game, but just seeing stuff in local about how clueless so many people are about just very basic things that used to be commonplace years ago, you do not see people saying that anymore. I very rarely hear people in local asking questions and stuff. The only times I really ever hear it is in squad chat, and even that is very rare. And
Yeah, no, you're right. Like again, like I wouldn't mind getting a newbie in my squad up to speed with things, but depending on what's going on, I can't keep babysitting this blueberry here, because I have other people in my squad I gotta lead. I gotta make sure I gotta get my shit in order too. I'm here to have fun and enjoy myself as well, but I, yeah, there's just no easy way to do it. It's just, again, the game has a steep learning curve, and it's just we use what we have, but it's just sometimes it's just not feasible to teach them at current moments, depending on what's going on in game.
I remember being newer to the game. I remember then also being experienced in the game after a couple of years playing it. But people still asked questions way more, and we're still teaching each other way more than you are now. So yes, I do agree that it is happening to an extent, but not to the degree it used to be happening. And also this point about taking people into the training ranges, I mean, yeah, if I have a friend that I want to teach to play the game, I'm going to take him into a training range and show him stuff if he wants, but like, I'm not going to go out of my way to invite some random blueberry onto a training range. Also, the point about the training range, you can't go on a training range together with another person in a server unless you join someone else's server on the custom server browser. There are plenty that are just sitting there empty on Jensen's range that you can't go in, but it's very inconvenient, and sometimes other people can join and then ruin the teaching experience by doing other things. There's not actual,
that is true too.
Cooperative buddy teaching feature that OWI has in the game. You have to use somebody else's server or buy your own server in order to do that, which shouldn't be the case if you actually want to take somebody into the training range, and it's very inconvenient. So the whole point about make with what you have, I mean, yeah, we've been doing that for years, but it shouldn't have to be that way. There's very simple little things that OWI could implement in the game to make this experience better for everybody, and I don't think just accepting that it just sucks and that we should embrace it is a good mentality when it totally can be fixed if they put the effort into fixing it. It's kind of the same tune of several comments on the original video of, I'm whining, why do I care? If there's so many problems, just go play another game, don't do this. I've been playing Squad for this many years. It is my favorite game. I'm complaining because I love the game. I have so much fond memories of the game. I know how the game should be played. I've met so many cool people playing the game. I want it to be successful so that so many other people can share those same experiences that I've had for years and years to come. So
yeah, exactly. Like, I would complain at moments about this game too. And it's not just because I'm complaining to bitch. No, I'm complaining because I want to see this game do better and improve more, because I care. Other players, they can just complain and just leave and then they're gone. That's it. For me, no, I'm still playing because I have hope that this will get fixed and we can move forward and make the experience better for all. So
no, I'm not just going to sit here quietly and let it deteriorate without saying anything. I'm going to do my best to try and convince people that it should be better and that we should support OWI and implement these things that make it better rather than just letting it deteriorate and being like, well, I guess we'll work with what we got. And hopefully I can encourage other people to try and be better squad mates and try and be more helpful to new players. Because while I'm saying that I shouldn't be expected to help new players every match, people should still be willing to help where they can. And people who have experience should be willing to share that experience and not just shoot down every time someone says they're a new player because you don't want to help them. While I do...
what I used to do is, like, I should do that more often too. If I just squad lead and it's open squad, I'd be like, okay, who's new here? So just so I know what to kind of be like, okay, you're new, you're new. Okay, cool. I'll help you along the way depending what's going on. But now I know that okay, you guys are new. If you're brand new to the game, you got the hack kit. I might need you to give it up so we can train you on something a lot easier, like a rifleman, machine gunner, or a medic. You know, like give up the hack kit so someone else that has more time in the game could utilize it better than you can. Not trying to be an ass. I'm just let's get you with the basics first.
Gotten to this point, we can still affect it as a community and should try our best to be better for the community. Next comment. Hot take, new players are just as bad as they ever were. You being a veteran player have improved and therefore the gap between you and new players has grown. I can agree with your argument to a certain extent. Obviously that's going to be with any game you play. As you start to get better, you kind of get up on that bell curve and realize how bad people are that are newer than you. But I was an experienced player years ago. I had several thousand hours when Squad released as a full game into V1. I was experienced back then and have noticed a deterioration from then to now. And if anything, I've only gotten worse because the quality of Squad itself has gotten worse. So I play worse or do worse tactics because the players themselves have lowered that skill gap. And I've noticed it more than ever. I used to be able to bear with the bad people back then a lot more than I do now. There felt like a more willingness of the people that played the game back then to get with the program that is current Squad gameplay then than there is now. The onboarding process now is exponentially worse because back then we had less new players that were coming in and not knowing how to play than we do now. We have more players than ever, but less experience than ever. And a lot of comments that were on the video, I've kind of purposely not mentioned this just because I think it deserves a whole nother video in itself, is talking about the ICO. Now, just from the comments on the video,
that's a touchy subject,
people have so many divisive opinions on the ICO. One comment will be praising it and saying that them nerfing it was the reason that Squad has gotten worse recently, while the other will blame it for ruining a lot of different things about Squad. I lean more towards the latter argument. So many experienced players that were so used to this fundamental system that Squad had in the game for years were now on the same page as every new player in the book of having to learn this new system and don't want to play anymore. So you have a bunch of people who are newer to the game who don't know what the old system was, who are happy because they can just learn the system same as everyone else, and then you have experienced players who are used to this system and now have to relearn a system that is frustrating and not fun to deal with, that don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, this can be at its own fucking video essentially. He's right. If you want my opinion, when Ico first came out, it fucked up the game. It fucked up the game's pacing, the flow. It fucked up a lot of things. What we have now, much better, much better. And the playtest that's currently going on right now, hell yeah, like it. But I did not like Ico's first iteration. I felt like it just screwed up everything. Or not everything. I felt like it just screwed up the pacing of the game, making it more slow and excruciatingly painful. Yeah, that's my 2 cents here.
I don't think ICO had as big of an impact on the player base of the game as some people let on, but it did have a significant effect. I know several people who have dropped the game since the ICO released and never came back, who had thousands of hours and some of the best Squad players I knew. So yes, it's a lot of compounding factors, but I totally do not agree with the opinion that just because I'm a veteran player now, that players are just worse in my opinion. I was a veteran player years ago and it was not this bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So while yes, when I was in 2017 and I thought everyone was crazy good at the game versus when I was in 2020 and had thousands of hours and thought everyone was decent, mediocre, and now I'm in 2025 and have thousands of hours and think everyone is pretty bad on average, there was definitely a decrease in experienced players and quality people who want to play the game than there was back then. I can say that for certain. Alright, this video is already way longer than it was supposed to be, so last question here. The strangest thing about the tutorial is that Squitters created bots for Squad. A huge opportunity for a new tutorial to be made. But no, OWI are too lazy / incompetent to create a new tutorial in years and then just use UE5 as an excuse for every problem of UE4 that is not relevant. Yeah, this is a bit of an odd one for me. I played a lot of the Zeus mod when it came out, which was basically paired along with the Squad Bots mod. and it was awesome. I mean, it had so many unique, awesome scenarios that you could.
I never got to play the Zeus mod, to be honest, so I wouldn't know. The only time I encountered bots was the seeding layer, and that was it. And those bots are just there to be like, hey, there's something to shoot at, and it's shooting back at you.
It had so much potential. I was super happy when OWI actually bought the mod and hired Squitters on, because I thought they were going to do a lot more with it. It's been at least over a year at this point, and nothing has come of it at all other than adding bots to seeding, which yeah, was a really helpful little addition, but like, why not anything else? There's so much potential with this mod. You can create so many other game modes, you can create so many other scenarios, you can make Zeus an official part of Squad, which would bring on a whole nother community, but they just kind of let it.
Make Squad more like Arma. Oh man. I mean, Zeus is fun in a way, but it's just like, I always look at Zeus like, oh, it's an Arma thing. Like someone made the King of the Hill mod, and it's basically King of the Hill from Arma into Squad. And I'm like, if I want to play King of the Hill, I'll just go to Squad. I mean, if I wanted to play King of the Hill, I'd go to Arma. If I want to play Zeus, I go to Arma. So, like you can do something with the bots, definitely, but it's just, I don't know. Well, it's kind of like we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Which I just find really odd. And while the bots were really fun and there was a lot of opportunity, they do still need quite a bit of work. And
yeah,
while I don't know if they're being worked on behind the scenes right now still, I hope they are, because it's so much potential. It's just something that OWI bought and then left. Now, once again, it might be just another thing that they're waiting for the UE5 to release before they do anything with it, but it wasn't on that recent roadmap that they just put out, so I don't know what their plan is with them. If they're just content with buying the bots for the seeding and then just leaving it, which is really disappointing, because it's a thing that they bought, it's a thing that they own, and it has so much potential, and they've just kind of let it sit and not done anything with it.
Yeah, we can't say like that, yeah.
Update since October of last year with the PMC faction. There's been a
Has
few
it been that long?
then,
Seriously? Jesus Christ, that has been almost a year.
I know they're very much bottlenecked right now with not being able to release anything since the UE5 update just got delayed. But in retrospect, I don't know if upgrading as soon as they did was a great idea. It has just killed good squad matches and the player base during this time that nothing has been done. As unfortunate as it is, some of the best squad gameplay I get is right after a new update, because so many people return to the game and there's something fun, new, and relevant to play. It has just been so boring recently, and it has really killed my motivation to play squad. So I really hope they get this out fast, and I appreciate that they delayed it
I do hope,
because of bugs with the engine, and they're hopefully not going to release it with a ton of problems like they sometimes do with their updates. But it just seems in retrospect that it wasn't actually that great of an idea if it's just done the damage that it currently has done to Squad. I sincerely hope the best for Squad's future, and I think that if they can square out a lot of the new player onboarding and get some actual new content that is good for the player base rather than just factions, which the two main things they released on the new roadmap was that they're adding 2 new factions and no maps. But hey, at least we get a TC rework. That was about due like 2 years ago, but it's nice that they're getting around to it. But the ball really is in OWI's court if they want to focus on actually making...
I do admit, like, we could definitely use, like, with the stuff coming out, cool, but we could definitely use new content, new maps, definitely. I would love to see more maps from Project Reality come into Squad. I would love to see maps of different biomes. Like, I always made the suggestion, I know Baron made a map, Grand Falls, which took place near the Canadian American border, and I thought, look, this is incredible. This is a different biome. This is North America. It's different but similar because that's what I'm used to. Let's have more of these style maps of, let's have some of the maps based in North America or Western Europe, you know? Something different. Like, I would be totally up for that. I get that you have to completely make new stuff, like new buildings, basically, you know, things too, but I would love to see maps like that take place in, like, different areas of the world here, you know? Like, we only got one Pacific map, basically. I'm like, okay, let's have another. Well, technically 2 because of that seating map, but we're not really going to count that. But let's have another one, you know? Like, but let's, you know, I do admit, new maps would definitely be a huge help right now.
the game last with quality players for a long time.
That and the onboarding experience too. So.
Or just kind of sell out to the arcade audience and let it kind of go down this hell let loose-esque route. Time will tell, but I'm optimistic for the future. Thank you all for all the support on the original video. Thanks for, if you're still at this point in the video, listening to me ramble for a half an hour. Appreciate you guys. I got other ideas and videos that are hopefully going to be in the works. And if you see me in squad, feel free to say hi. I'll still be playing the game, even in its current state. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you
I mean,
in the next one.
Schroeder made some excellent fucking points here, and I mean, this reaction is over an hour long. I didn't think it was going to be an hour long, but I am definitely agreeing with the few things said here. Like, we definitely need a better onboarding process, a revamped tutorial mode. It's just the quality of the matches and the pacing of the state is definitely worse off compared to what was pre 1.0. So, and when we're having so many sales and so many new people coming in, it definitely influences how the matches are going to go because they don't know what they're going to do. We're trying to get them up to speed. There's not enough of us veteran players to go around, and it's just you get these situations where a lot of the times you get just one team just destroying the other, basically, because all the veterans are on that side, a lot of newbies are on the other. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what more content comes out of this creator. I'm definitely giving a like and subscribe, and everything will be in the description box below. But a lot of great points here. But that's gonna be it for the video today. Post down in the comment box on how do you feel about this. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe as well. But again, check out this creator, Schroeder. Description. Link will be down in the description box below. But thank you all so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like and subscribe. Don't forget I do stream weekly on YouTube and Twitch, and feel free to join my Discord.